Hello everyone. In the series of learning database management system, our today's topic is dependency preservation. In the earlier videos, we have already studied that if my table is not in desired normal form or if it contain any kind of redundancies or anomalies, we have to decompose the table. And in the previous lecture, I have told you that decomposition must be lossless. So we have already discussed the lossless join property of decomposition, which is a mandatory property. And according to that property, we cannot lose any information from the relation that is decomposed. So if I am having a table T and I decomposed it into T1 and T2, when I try to recreate the table T from T1 and T2, I should get same information. No less tuple and no extra tuple. Then we can say that the decomposition is lossless, which is the mandatory property for decomposition. Now, here we have dependency preservation, which is another important property, since a dependency is a constraint on the database. So, it is an important and desirable property. It is not mandatory property. It should be there, but in some cases we can lose the dependency also. But we try our best to decompose a table in such a way that dependency should not lose. We should not lose the dependency. Now, let F be the dependency on our table T. I am having a table T, and at this instance we are having some functional dependency, and I am denoting those functional dependencies as F. Now, when we decompose the table, this functional dependency will also get decomposed. Some few functional dependency will go to table T1 and few functional dependency will go to table T2. So we are assuming that the functional dependencies also will get decomposed to F1, F2 to Fn if I am decomposing this table T1, T2 to Tn. Now, when we will say that the decomposition is dependency preserving, if I will take the union of all the functional dependencies, if I am taking the union of all functional dependency and again I am getting the same functional dependency which was present in the beginning, then we will say that the decomposition is dependency preserving. If I am getting the subset of the dependency which was present in the beginning, then we will say that this particular decomposition is not dependency preserving, because subset means it contains some of the value which was there in the previous original value. So it will not be dependency preserving. Okay, so let's check with some example that our table, if we decompose, it is dependency preserving or it is not dependency preserving. Now, few points to remember here I have given for you. So we will solve the numerical using these points to remember. So every time when you will solve the numerical to check whether a decomposition is dependency preserving or not, it will be correct. And it is a question which frequently asked in GATE and competitive exam, and in university exams also you can have these kind of questions. So you should know all these steps. Let's solve the example with these steps so it will be easy for you to understand. Now, first step is write down all the non-trivial dependency present in the child table. Let's see the example and one by one we will refer the point. For example, I am having a relation R with attribute X, Y, Z. Now, the functional dependencies are like this, that X determines Y, Y determines Z, and Z determines X. These are the functional dependency. And when we decomposed, we brought it to normal form, it got decomposed into two relations, R1 and R2. where R1 is having X and Y attribute and R2 is having Y and Z attribute. So first thing we have to check whether this decomposition is lossless or not. So for checking lossless, there was 3 important conditions. All the attributes should be present in R1 and R2. So X, Y and Z all are present. There should be one common attribute between these two tables. So Y is the common attribute and the value for this Y should be distinct. That means this Y should be key in any one of the table. If it is the case, then it is a lossless join or lossless decomposition. So now we have to check for dependency preservation. So what we have to do here, we will just make a separation, and here for table R1 I will write the attributes of R1 XY and I will write the attributes of R2 YZ. Now first point is saying write down all the non-trivial dependency present in the child table. Now I am considering these as my child table R1, R2 and R as my parent table. And I have to write down all the non-trivial dependency. Why only non-trivial dependency? Because trivial dependencies are always true. If I am saying X determines X, if I will take closure of X, definitely I will get X. Correct? So any attribute will be able to derive itself. There is no big deal. So trivial dependencies are already preserved. We just have to check for non-trivial dependencies. So write down all the non-trivial dependency present in the child table. So here I will write the non-trivial dependency for this table and this table. Separately I will write. Okay. So here X will determine Y and Y will determine X. Only with respect to this table I am working right now. Only with respect to the child table. Similarly, if I will write the functional dependency, trivial dependencies which can be present, non-trivial dependency, which can be present here will be Y determines Z and Z determine Y. Only this is the possibility. Okay, so we have done this. Second point is saying check the dependency holds true or not. Now we have to check these dependency, they are true or not. How we can check? So there can be two cases. First case is dependency can be directly present. So here now the functional dependency which is given in the question, with respect to that I have to check this. So X determine Y, it is directly present in the question. That means there is no confusion, this will hold true. Y determine X, now this is not directly present. This side also let me check. Y determines Z, if you can see it is directly present in the question, so this will hold true. Z determines Y, this is not directly present. So dependency can be directly present. If it is directly present, we are directly marking, we are not doing any further checking on them because already it's given in the question, so we are considering them as true. Now what if the dependency are not directly present in the question? Then what we have to do? So we have to follow this point. Else take the closure of the determinant. Now which determinant? Which is present on the left hand side. So what we have to do, if the dependency is not directly present in the question, we have to take the closure of the determinant with respect to the functional dependency given in the question. We have to take the closure of the determinant with respect to the functional dependency given in the question and check for the possibility that it is true or not. So here I have to take the closure of Y. If I will take closure of Y, Y can determine Y. Now with respect to the original value, with respect to the I have to take closure with respect to functional dependency given in the question. With respect to these functional dependency, I have to take the closure. Okay. Now Y can determine Y, then here Y can determine Z also, and Z can determine X also. Okay. So here if you can see, Z is not part of this table, so I will exclude Z. I can say Y can determine Y and X. Fine. So Y can determine X. That means we proved that it is not directly present, but indirectly this dependency also hold true. Okay, now let's check for this. So here I have to take the closure of determinant. What is the determinant? Z. Now closure of determinant with respect to the functional dependency is given in the question. Z can determine Z, Z can determine X, and X can determine Y. So now this table only contain Y and Z. So I have to exclude X. I will not take X. So what I can say, Z closure gives me X, Z and Y. That means Z can determine Z and Z can determine Y. So indirectly this functional dependency also hold true. Okay, now check the third point. Take the union of all the functional dependency. Now these functional dependencies we derived from the decomposed table. So we will call them the possible functional dependency or possible derived functional dependency. We have to take union of these functional dependency. So if I will take union, what functional dependencies I have? I am having X determines Y. I am having Y determines X. I am having Y determines Z. And I am having Z determines Y. This is the union. I have taken the third step. Take union of all possible functional dependency. So this is my possible functional dependency. These are my possible functional dependency. Okay. Now, what is the fourth step now? Fourth step, check all the original dependencies are preserved or not. How to check original dependencies are preserved or not? With respect to the possible functional dependency, we are saying if we are decomposing the table R1 and R2, these are the possible functional dependencies we have. Now we have to check with respect to the original functional dependency. This is only we are doing, right? Union of all the functional dependency with respect to the original functional dependency. If both are equal, we will say that the decomposition is dependency preserving. So we have to check now this and this. If both are equal, we will say that this decomposition is dependency preserving. Now for this also, for this fourth point also, there can be two cases. Dependency can be directly present, as we can see, X determines Y, X determines Y. It is directly present. So X determine Y is preserved. This dependency is preserved. Then Y determines X is directly not present here. Y determines Z, Y determines Z. So Y determines Z is also preserved. Right? Then Z determines X is not directly present. Right? So what we have to do? Right now we are only bothered about the original dependency. I should get all the dependency here. So Y determines X is already preserved. X determines Y is already preserved. Y determines Z is already preserved. Now I have to check for Z determines X, which is not directly present. So check the B point, what it is saying. If the dependency is not directly present, then what we have to take? We have to take the closure of the determinant. We have to take closure of determinant, okay, with respect to the derived functional dependency. Earlier what we did? We took the closure with respect to the original functional dependency. Here we have to take the closure with respect to derived functional dependency. What we are trying to prove? We are trying to prove that the functional dependency Z determines X is preserved or not. So what I have to do? I have to check the closure of Z with respect to derived functional dependency. Here I have to check. So how to check? From Z I can get Z. From Z I can derive Y. From Y I can derive Z, which is already present, and I can derive X also. Fine. And what my functional dependency is saying? My functional dependency is saying Z determines X. So here if you can say Z can determine X also, Y also, Z also. So if I will say Z determines X, it's true. It's not directly present, but it is indirectly present. So Z determines X is also preserved. Thus we can say this example or this decomposition is dependency preserving example. Okay, in the coming video I will be solving more numericals, more decomposition we will see, so we can check whether it's a lossless decomposition or not, or it's a dependency preserving decomposition or not. This is it for this session. Thank you very much.